you see? Is it clear? Okay, cool. Thank you. After this, we're going to Lowell, where the sign is, to take pictures, and the Miami Herald's coming with us. So we'll be posting those pictures later on tonight as well. Where did Julie go? I have names for her.
Can I make a short announcement for the people who have cameras? Please don't take pictures of other people in the audience. You can take pictures of me. I'm from DOJ, whatever. But we ask that you don't take pictures of other people who are here, just to protect privacy. Thank you.
So nice seeing you. Sort of. Can you guys still see everything? They're like talking back. It's crazy. Hey, there's 5 more people on their way right now. Kay Kelly, Jan Shelley. They'll be here in 5 minutes. Jan Shelley, Kay Clark, and Lauren Coran. They're on their way. Good, we can't wait to see you guys. All right, Catherine Clark is on her way. Rachel, you guys want to come show your shirt? Show the shirts. These are the shirts that we're wearing. Your shirts, ladies. Okay. We're going to Lowell and take some amazing pictures by the Lowell sign after this, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys.
Good afternoon. My name is John Holloway. I am what we call a mission strategist in Baptist life here in Marion County. I work with 85 different churches, and some of those are involved in various ministries, and some of those are connected to Lowell and other places around our county. We have a unique community here. June Edwards is here. She's superintendent of the Methodist churches here in this particular area. June, raise your hand so they'll see who you are. We have others that are part of a group. We meet together once a month for prayer. We pray for our community. We connect. We try to build bridges. And Ashley reached out to one of our pastors and said, we'd like to host a meeting like this. John was 12 miles out of town, and he said, we've got a better place to do this, but it seems like we're not quite big enough. Now, I have nothing in the world to do today with your meeting except I'm in charge of this building. So here we go. Gentlemen, if you can stand up and give a lady your chair, would you please do that? Now, ladies, come on and take a chair, or we're in bad shape if you don't.
Sergeant Meekins is watching. Hi, Sarge. Sergeant Meekins is watching. Can you see okay, Sarge? Because you know I don't really know what I'm doing.
Okay, we still have some seats, so please, if you'd like to take one. The second thing that may help us a little bit, if you're standing up, if we could just kind of shift this way, because there'll be some others that'll be coming in. We could create a little room for them, that would be helpful. So please, just move on down a little bit if you would, and that'll accommodate us. The third thing I'd like to say is I don't know how much more candy I've got left, and I'm going to pass it around. So everybody, please, you don't know who you're sitting next to. You don't know what they had for lunch. So here's a way to sort of share the love a little bit if you do that. And let's enjoy our time together today. You're here for lots of reasons, and probably reasons that someone like me cannot even understand. But I'm very grateful that we have representatives here from the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. And they want to be here, and from all I can gather, they want to hear what you have to say. Now, I just stood in the lobby, and I heard a lot of conversations. So as it relates to their particular reason for being here today, I hope that you feel the freedom to speak. I think that's what they want, and I would encourage you to do that. Some of you are not very familiar with Marion County. We are the 4th largest landmass county in the state of Florida. If you don't believe that, ask June and myself, because we travel it all the time. You go from one end of the county to the other, it takes us about 2 hours to do that sometimes. Right down the road, there's a historic place called Silver Springs. There are 6 springs that burst water up from there, and they have since the creation of the earth. On an average day, they put out 550 million gallons of water. On a really good day, when the aquifer is full, they put out 1 billion gallons of water. Those 6 springs form the Silver Springs River, which forms the Ocala River, which goes into the St. Johns River, which goes into the ocean. I tell you that because I think it's an amazing place that we have here, and it's made up of a lot of really unique people. 18 languages a day spoken in Marion County. Now, some of you came from Miami and other places like that. Miami's 200 languages a day, so we haven't quite gotten there, but we're working on it. In our particular association, we have churches that are Anglo churches who speak English. We have Hispanic churches. We have Korean churches. And we have Creole churches. So we're trying to catch on, but we're thankful to be here and thankful to host this event today. We have prayed for you. We have prayed for this gathering because we want it to be a beneficial time for you. I'm going to now give this to Laura Kowal. Laura is with the Department of Justice, and she explained to us kind of how we're going to do this today. So let us give you an Ocala welcome here. We're glad to have you.
I'm Laura Cowell. I'm an attorney with the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. And I'm here as a team. And so I'd like the rest of the team to introduce themselves. And we are the folks who are going to be here today, and we're in town this week. We are anxious to talk to you and hear what you have to say about the Lowell Correctional Institution. We're on this together, and some of us are kind of local, and some of us are from DC. So I'll let the folks on the team introduce themselves and let you know what, where they're stationed and what they do and who they are.
Hi everyone, my name is Dawn Davison, and I'm a retired warden. Retired after 30 years of being in corrections in California, and I'm a consultant with the team, so I'm very happy to be here.
Would you like to work at Lowell?
I retired
We need her help.
in 2009, but I'm very happy to be here to help you.
We're happy you're here.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tiffany Nick. I'm an assistant United States attorney here in the Middle District of Florida. I work out of our Orlando Division office and do our civil rights work along with the
My name is Kathleen Trainer. I'm from the Civil Rights Division, Special Litigation Section in Washington, D.C. of the U.S. Department of Justice. I work with Laura and on this investigation. And I'm an attorney. I've been at DOJ for 17 years.
Wow.
Good afternoon, I'm Johan C. Pettis. I'm with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida out of our Tampa office.
Hi everyone. My name is Ashley Landa. I am a community outreach specialist with the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. Thank you guys all so much for coming today. We really appreciate having you. I'm sorry if it's warm. I've been in here for 5 seconds and I'm already very warm. So thank you for being here.
Well, we won't stay in here for long because we really want to hear from you all, and because of the sensitivity of the topics we're here to talk about, as you saw from the sign-in sheets out front, we're going to be breaking up into separate rooms, and we're going to go in order to talk to folks who signed up to speak with us. But before we do that, I'll just say a few words about our investigation and what we do and what we're doing here. So thank you everyone for coming on Sunday and taking the time to meet with us. It's very important to talk with you all to gather information that you might have about conditions at Lowell that relate to our investigation. You all have unique perspectives on Lowell, and we truly value what you have to say. We will provide written contact information so that you can stay in touch with us after we leave here today, or if you prefer to communicate by phone or email, it's on this flyer here, which is on the table out front. So the phone number is 833-341-4676, or the email is community.lowell@usdoj.gov. I'll pass this around in case anyone wants to look at this and write down the information. So, our investigation, just a little bit of background. Earlier this year, the Justice Department, or the Department of Justice, or DOJ, USDOJ, opened an investigation to determine whether the Florida Department of Corrections engages in a pattern of practice at Lowell violating the Constitution. The investigation focuses on whether the Florida Department of Corrections protects inmates from sexual abuse by Lowell staff. The Special Litigation Section of the Civil Rights Division is working jointly with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida on this investigation. This investigation is conducted under the Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act, which is a federal law that allows the Attorney General of the United States to review conditions within institutions like Lowell to determine whether there is a pattern or practice of unlawful conditions. Our investigation will be independent, thorough, and fair. We have not yet made any conclusions about Lowell's practices. If we have reason to believe there is a pattern or practice of constitutional violations upon the conclusion of our investigation, we will describe them in a public notice. Then we would seek to work with the Florida Department of Corrections and other community stakeholders like yourselves to ensure that any identified unconstitutional practices are effectively remedied should we find a pattern or practice of constitutional violation. If we do not find any pattern or practice of unconstitutional conduct, we will inform the Florida Department of Corrections and our investigation will end. A few other things to note. This is a civil investigation, not a criminal investigation. We also do not represent any individuals. We apologize for that. So we cannot assist with anyone's criminal case. We cannot assist anyone with any kind of monetary or any other relief on behalf of any individual or group of individuals. As part of the sexual abuse investigation, we're looking at various issues, including how inmates can report sexual abuse and how Lowell responds to those reports. We will be visiting Lowell this week. Part of what we will do is try to talk to as many ladies there as we can. Unfortunately, we won't speak with everyone. However, we are interested in how everyone is treated at Lowell. Whether it's from someone who's there currently, who was there, one of someone who's there or anyone else who has information they can provide us. We recognize the importance the investigation is thorough and accurate. If during the course of our investigation we identify a serious problem, we do immediately notify the jurisdiction and provide technical assistance to address the problem. We understand that you and your loved ones may be concerned about retaliation for speaking to us about what is going on inside of Lowell. Please know that federal law protects those who report potential CRIPA violations from retaliation. If you suspect that you or your loved ones are being retaliated against for speaking to us, please tell us. We take reports about retaliation very seriously. We also understand that you may not want to share information due to confidentiality concerns. DOJ also recognizes the sensitivity surrounding issues of sexual abuse, and we will do what we can to protect confidentiality, especially information that could potentially identify you or your loved one as the source. So, with that, that is all that we have to say to you. The purpose of our meeting here today is really to hear from you all, and we have arranged meeting rooms so that if you desire to speak with us and share any information, we're going to go down the list, and each of us will be in a separate room, so you'll have the chance to talk to one of us if you've signed up. It's not too late to sign up. You can still do so on the sign-up sheet at the table. But that is all that we have to say about our investigation, and we look forward to hopefully speaking with as many of you as possible either today or by phone or by email with the contact information that's provided on the flyer.
What is your time limit on your investigation?
So there isn't a specific time limit. Our investigations are very comprehensive and very thorough, so it'll take months.
Okay, it sounds to me like you addressed us. It's restricted to just sexual issues.
That's
But
correct.
what about the medical issues where people die because they just don't bother treatment?
So we are interested in hearing about those issues. Those are not currently part of our investigation. However, if we find reasonable basis to believe that there is a problem with those issues, we can go back to Washington and we can request that the investigation be expanded. However, the only issues that we are currently investigating are related to sexual abuse. Oh, I should add, I apologize to members of the press for not being able to take questions from the press. So I'll rely on you all to self-identify if you're press, and I'll have to refer you to our press office. Yes, sir.
Without violating the HIPAA laws under the medical aspect of things, is the department investigating sexually transmitted disease that the inmates may have acquired during things that happened to them?
So there are various issues that could come up along the lines of sexual abuse, and we go where the facts take us. Our jurisdiction is pattern or practice of constitutional violations. So what we do is we gather the facts, we do legal research, and we go where the facts and the law take us. Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier that if there was some issue, like somebody self-disclosing and there being some type of punitive response to that you would react to that. It may be apples and oranges, but as it relates to maybe previous investigations that you've done, what is the typical turnaround time that you would be able to resolve that to maybe encourage more people to speak up that could possibly be on the fence right about?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't
question.
say, because we just started this investigation this
Oh,
year.
no, I mean like maybe a similar investigation.
Right,
Like
it's really hard to say. I mean, we'd have to know the factual circumstances, but the exact law that protects from retaliation is 42 USC section 1997D. If you want to Google it and see what it says. It basically says that folks who report violations under CRIPA should not be subject to retaliation. So I'm sorry, I can't give you a more specific answer as to what would happen in that scenario, but we do take it seriously and we do follow up on any such reports. Yes.
I am a former inmate at Lowell, and I am in communication with over 50 women that are still there, mostly because of the conditions that happen there. You really have to have a voice on the outside. So if they don't have family, then they have me. And I've probably had 30 people contact me in the last couple of days and take their name off the list because they're scared to talk. Plain and simple. I mean, probably every YO that you have in that place wants to talk, but they're scared to death. And those are kids. Some of those girls are teenagers, and they're scared to talk. How can you guarantee that? Because once I go to bed at night and they can't email me, and once you guys go back to Washington, I mean, I lived there for a long time, and stuff happens. How can you keep them safe?
We understand it's a serious concern, and I assure you that we do everything we possibly can. We won't put anyone in danger. We have an expert consultant with us who's very familiar with the dynamics of prisons and with the potential for retaliation.
But if you guys are going to go back to Washington and do some more talking, you better get a round-trip ticket, because you're going to be back over and over and over again, because sexual is huge, but it's just a tiny little piece. You have women that are dying that weren't sentenced to death. And my friend died. She had 21 days left on a 13-year sentence, and she's dead. Only because she was at Lowell. That's the only reason. And it's just the physical abuse, just like the shirt say, the mental abuse, the physical abuse. There's so many issues. I mean, I really hope you guys listen to us, because we're not just, some of us drove a long time to come here, because I feel like this is the first time we've had a platform, and then with Julie Brown here, 'cause she's definitely on our side, and I know Ashley's on our side. I haven't spoke with you, but there are so many stories to tell, and I think that if people see that you're listening to us, I still consider myself an inmate. More of me will talk to you guys.
Well, we promise to listen to you, and we will be thorough in our investigation, and we thank everyone. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And
No, we appreciate you being here.
And we look forward to talking with you.
Miss, sorry, I just have one quick question. If your investigation reveals, by speaking with people, that there is possible criminal misconduct, is that something that's forwarded to a different department?
We have a section in the Civil Rights Division that investigates criminal allegations, yes. Yes.
I'm a former inmate at Lowell. I've been out 1 year. When I was there, I'm a PREA victim. I was sexually assaulted by an officer, and when I reported it, I got thrown in confinement for 165 days. When the PREA people came to speak to me, the staff was so manipulated from the officer that did it to me that they called me a liar, and I got sentenced to confinement, to the point my family didn't even get their mail. It was getting thrown away because of the dangers that what I was going through was put in the mail, and they weren't receiving it. It was getting placed in the trash. So I have friends that are still there that are afraid to speak up, because they're afraid that their parents aren't going to get their mail or their email, and that the officer's going to go get a gang of girls to come beat you up because you're throwing away their supply that comes in.
Happens every day.
Well, I'd like to get through the questions. I really want to talk. I really want to hear all the individual stories that we possibly can while we're here. So please,
I'm with the Incarcerated Workers Organizing Committee, and I'd like to remind everybody that the Department of Justice are the people who incarcerate us. So if you're tired of going to them for help, and you're tired of asking for help and begging for help, and then dealing with the retaliation that we all know will happen, because that's how prisons operate. They're behind walls. They act with impunity. They do not have to be accountable for their actions. If you're tired of waiting and begging and asking for help from the very people who are locking us up, let's get organized. There's a strike on Tuesday. Prisoners are taking it upon themselves. They're sick of waiting and begging for help as they die and suffer and deal with these conditions. We all know the score.
Have you ever been in prison before?
Let me just.
I believe in them.
Okay, everyone, let's
I
just.
have written out a 12-year
Let me just clarify.
I believe in them.
Not make it.
So we're with the Civil Rights Division of the Federal U.S. Department of Justice. We have nothing to do with incarcerating.
Can I ask you a question?
We really need to. Okay, we have about.
Just a quick question.
Sure, 7 minutes. We just need to make sure that we start with the individual meetings by 4:30.
How long did it take you with the Tutwiler investigation to be finished? Is it over?
Yes, go on. We have a website. You can read the results of our findings with that investigation.
Yeah, I know. I'm
on our
acquainted with
website.
that. I mean,
Okay.
it took several years, didn't it?
It can take some time. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but it can take some time because we do a very thorough, comprehensive.
Yeah, but some of the people here don't know what happened in Tutwiler. There was a female prison that the women were sexually abused. So somebody asked as to how long it would take. You could have used that example.
Yeah, but at least we got the ball rolling. I think at least we're starting, and I don't know why. I believe in these ladies. I believe in these people, and I've never said that before. I believe in these people. I believe in Julie Brown. I think something's going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. They've been abusing us for decades. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's a start.
Just briefly, if any questions about the process, so that we can hear from you all. So the breakout rooms will be the small rooms along the hallway here, and we're going by the sign-up sheet and taking people in order. Yes.
This one's broken. Deborah Bennett.
I actually don't know the, okay, yeah, off the top of my head. Okay.
561 507
I just have one thing. So
3690.
Institutional Legal Services, I direct our Institutional Legal Services project. We do represent everyone in the state of Florida who is incarcerated. We take intakes from everyone around the state. We look at problems in all the institutions. And there's another person here from Southern Poverty Law Center. We're happy to speak with people who are here today as well. We do represent people in the state of Florida.
And piggybacking off of that, I wanted to add that the Southern Poverty Law Center is currently doing an ongoing investigation of people that are in solitary confinement. So if any of you are willing to talk to me, please come find me and I will come find all of you as well.
Also, one other, we have the American Civil Liberties Union attorney is here from Miami. I'm Keith Harris from Florida Justice League. And we're working.
Everybody's only here because you guys are here.
Okay, any other questions before we move?
Real quick, I just want to say I'm Kathy Wyckoff from Marion County, anyone available on. And you've been in Marion County Jail and been in the prison pipeline, come see me.
We're getting too off topic.
Okay, question. Does your investigation have anything to do with the rumored 8-day lockdown at the annex? No. We haven't heard any rumors. It's supposed to be
No.
We'll be going to the prison tomorrow and we'll find out what's going on.
They are waiting for you. Those inmates are so happy you're coming. They're
Okay, any
waiting
other
for
questions?
you.
My question is related, is this investigation going and the results will be connected with the criminal justice reform that Washington is bringing? Would that be a recommendation?
This is separate. This is an investigation done under the Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act statute that our office, the Special Litigation Section of the Civil Rights Division, enforces specifically. So it's separate. All right, should we go ahead and transition? You can feel free to ask the person from DOJ in your room any questions that you have as well. This is at the end of the time to ask questions. You can always email and call that number and ask questions too.
Thank you. So we are going to try to set up. We're going to break out in separate rooms now, and we want to call people's names to sign up with a sign-up sheet, but to protect their privacy, the privacy of their loved ones. So we ask the reporters or any other member of the press to step out while we're calling names. Please, thank you.
Can I get your name?
Deborah Bennett.
D-E-B-O-R?
D-E-B-R-A.
What's the last name?
Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T.
And her name? Rachel?
Rachel Calfin. R-A-C-H-E-L-K-A-L-F-I-N.
Who else was up there in the beginning when you showed your shirts, do you know? I took a picture of it. I'll show you real quick.
This girl here?
Here you go. You're all in this one. Wait. So that's you. That's Rachel. You know who that is?
Yeah, that's Tanya McKenzie.
MC? How do you spell Tanya? How do you spell Tanya? Who was the other one up there? You know?
Give me your name.
Can I have your attention, please? Sorry. Anyone, we're going to ask people, members of the press, people with cameras, step out of the room, please. And anyone who's filming, if you could